Advanced content in Wizard101 has been a very popular topic within the community for about a year or two now, ever since the developers really made this a very prevalent thing, basically. Now, if you're somebody who is very confused about what advanced content is and a lot of the stuff it entails. This is the video where I'm going to explain everything when it comes to card text, what is a gambit, and what is advanced content, and like what areas it's in the game. If you guys find this video useful at all, a like, rating, and a sub is always appreciated. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into things. So right away, I want to talk about, well, what is advanced content in the first place? Because I feel like a lot of people do not even know what the heck advanced content is, dude? And I will explain that right away here. So when something is marked as advanced combat, it automatically has a whole different rule set. And the best way I can explain this to you guys is simply if you open up your spell deck here, you might go through a couple of your spells, epic, right? We like to use enchants in PvE, but it has a marked symbol there with that little sword and the cross, right? That means basically no PvP or no advanced mode, basically, right? So you'll see that here on Luminous Weaver and, a couple other spells here going through my spell book, right? Enfeeble, Supercharge, right? You kind of get the idea. Queen Calypso. So this is basically saying it will not appear in your deck if you are doing advanced combat. So like a raid, PvP, hard mode, right? Some of those advanced modes in the game right now. Now, if you do not know what a raid is or, hard mode for PvE, I will show you guys that right now in case you also do not know what that is. But a raid is basically a guild. This is our guild house, the Stormy Ducks. And you basically pop open one of these portals, which is very expensive to do. You get 12 people in, and it's like a 3-hour long dungeon kind of thing that you can repeat within those 3 hours. And you get some pretty good loot, and it's the hardest content in the game by far. Like, you literally cannot debate it. So in that raid, you play by completely different rule sets where, again, the cards have these symbols on them where they have like no PvP, or this spell, for example, Thundering Djinn, it just has a PvP symbol on it. So you'll only see that in advanced mode. If you go to Malistaire in Darkmoor and you put the spell in your deck, it's not going to pop up in regular PvE casual mode, right? Next up, we have the hard mode, which is actually a pretty fresh thing. We got the first raid last year, I believe. But this hard mode is pretty fresh in terms of, updates, at least. So I think there's Lemuria, Storm Titan, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And basically, what this stuff is it follows the advanced combat, like the no PvP symbol formula. So you'll go in, you'll do these fights, you'll have to completely relearn how to do the fight and the meta for the fight. But the catch is, since you're, putting all this extra time in to play a harder mode and relearn a strat, you're gonna get way more loot, right? So if you look at my sigil here at the bottom, I can click on challenge mode, and that will turn the sigil to red. It's supposed to be red. I don't know why it's not red. So yeah, just some more advanced content stuff. The raid, hard mode, and obviously PvP. PvP, I feel like everybody knows what that is. Player versus player, I don't really need to go much into that. Next thing we can talk about is what is a gambit. Now, you might hear this a lot if somebody is doing PvP or if they're in a raid. That's the two most popular times you'll hear about something being a quote-unquote gambit. Now, the definition of gambit, I'm pretty sure, I didn't even look this up by the way, is to basically give up something for something. So basically, in Wizard101's case, is I will give up, look at the card here, right? I will get a ×2 damage gambit if I clear 4 blades. So I'm giving up 4 of my blades for my Storm Scion to do the double damage condition, right? Or I'm giving up, 4 traps here on the Myth Scion to do, double the damage, so 1800 in the Myth Scion case, right? So that's what it means by, like, Gambit. It's to get the secondary effect on these advanced card modes. A more complicated one would be something like Trickster Oni. I'll talk about this in the next point a bit more in depth, but Trickster Oni, right? The gambit on this is having it do its secondary function, which is doing 1225 as opposed to 1225 now, sorry, as opposed to 1040 over 5 rounds, right? The gambit is like the better version of the card, like the max value damage version of the card, and oftentimes you'll give up something to do that. That's kind of what a gambit is in Wizard101 at the moment. Next thing I want to talk about is going to be the card text. Now, I have been asked so much to make a video just talking about the card text. Like, Liam, I don't understand what the hell this card is saying, man. Can you explain this to me? I want a PvP, but, like, I can't read the card, so I don't want to pack it, and then I get destroyed by it, and I don't know what to do. I get so many comments like that, and I do understand why it's kind of overwhelming for y'all, and hopefully I can help y'all in this video with that. One thing I will say is, if you're, pretty forgetful like myself at times, if you actually just go to the help tab, so push like J or bring up your spellbook, and you go to the help tab here, you can actually find what a lot of these symbols mean, right? Under combat, icon dictionary, you'll see this stuff like a clover with like a slash, like a shield with a slash, yada yada. A lot of the time, it'll explain to you what it is. A bomb, deferred damage kind of thing. So if you go through these, they actually do explain it a decent bit, but I will go through a couple of examples in this video just to kind of, bring up some things and help you guys understand what it's like while, like, literally in practice. So if we look at a spell like Stone Colossus, now, this is a pretty complicated spell. If you want to read this and, figure it out for yourself, comment that down below if you can, if you want. I don't really care. But either way, what this does, you cast a spell and it doesn't hit. First, it'll clear up to 3 weaknesses on yourself, and it'll turn that into 1 5-round deferred damage over time. And the more weaknesses you have on you will power it up even more. So for example, 175 times 3 for 3 weaknesses, easy math, right? And then you will get your hit. So it's a lot of stuff to take in, right? It's a lot of stuff here. Getting rid of 3 things, turning that into a big hit, that's an overtime, and then you're hitting, right? It's a lot of stuff going on. Or Minotaur here, right? This card actually does the normal Minotaur hit, but it will then clear up to 3 shields on the opponent for 35% traps. Or a couple of the Rashambos here. I feel like these can get a bit confusing as a player because there's just so much like little card text and icons. It's probably like, what the hell does this even say, right? So let's take something like Reap the Whirlwind. You have a fist with like a radius around it. That's basically a damage over time. That's what the red circle is supposed to stand for, is like an overtime. So you clear a damage over time on yourself, which is like the friendly face with the arrow, for storm blades on yourself, right? Or energy transfer right here. You can clear 1 heal over time. Again, it has that circle around it and it's green this time on the opponent for heal blades on yourself, right? So, once you just read this, and you could probably, if you guys wanted to, you could like quiz yourself with attrition or, fear strafe. But once you guys get this down, kind of like the general idea on how things work, it's not that bad to understand after a little while, but I know at the start it's extremely overwhelming with all the symbols. And again, if you guys can go to the help page here, go to icon dictionary, just scroll through this. Actually, I have a lot of helpful stuff in here. I didn't know about this until I decided to check it for this video, actually, but definitely pretty helpful to come back to if you're just trying to understand the card text a bit more. Last but not least, we have the Rochambeau system. Now, I'm not going to talk much about this because I made 2 videos on the channel. One was pretty recent where I go in depth about the Rochambeau, how everything works, each school's new school identity as well. You guys should definitely check that video out if you want to learn about the Rochambeau and a bit more in depth, that's connected to this video as well. You have to have a very firm understanding of the Rochambeau if you want to do advanced combat, because, a school that might destroy blades, you have to know what you're going up against and, well, not played in that fight, or else you're going to get screwed, and you're going to die, and you're going to waste your time, right? So, you definitely do need a lot of, Rochambeau knowledge if you are planning to do this advanced content. So, definitely check out that video if you guys want to learn more about the Rochambeau and advanced PvP, or advanced combat in general. But yeah, that's everything I got for the video, y'all. If you have any questions at all, let me know down there in the comments below. I will answer them to the best of my ability. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, y'all.